I never know exactly when the stream is fully started, but it looks like we're on for sure by now, I would think. Hey, everybody, welcome to the channel. I am Joey Only Caribou Weather Dude YouTube channel here in Wells, BC, 3,953 feet above sea level. And this will be the recording of our show, the Comedeorological Report. Comedeorological Report. Comedy plus meteorology equals Comedeorology. It's your show about how much the weather sucks in Canada and beyond. Ooh, I just heard a gust of wind out there. I think the windstorm has begun in the interior, so we'll be talking about that pretty quick off the top here once I get the stream set up and going. I'm still doing some work here to ensure that everything's gone out, and you got to get the thumbnail up, and I got to set everything to go, right? So that's more or less what I'm doing right now here. And then sharing the video, and that's what you can do too, is share anything I'm doing would be helpful. Anything that you share is helping me. So trying to build the channel, trying to get more people on here and whatnot. Who do we have coming tonight on the show? I don't know, actually. I think Mark Ingalls will be here. I think our meteorologist. I think Mike's coming. Well, definitely Frankie McDonald will be here at the top of the hour. Frankie's good to go every time. He's good to go. So good. Looks like everything's rolling on my end here. Hey, how's it going, Gary? Good to see you, buddy. There in the chat. Ask a question in the chat, and we'll try to let everybody know what the answer is if we can, especially if you're a channel member. Okay, what's going on here? Computer being very slow. All right. Just trying to get this shared onto the social medias so that people come and watch and know that we're on. And if you give me one more minute here to get that done. Usually I like it if Brandon Houck is here, but he will not be here. He's one person who will not be on the show tonight because Brandon Houck, he's not just the morning guy and the weather guy for the radio in Brooks, Alberta. He also happens to be one of the producers for the Brooks Bandits hockey games, and of course they're in a playoff series right now. And although I don't think they're playing tonight, I think Brandon's just been going full throttle for a bunch of days and needs to draw a line as to, and yeah, this is not unusual. It's happened last year around this time too, where 1 or 2 weeks Brandon was like, I just can't do it right now. We're right in the middle of a series. So yeah, that's the cool thing, is that we have people on the show that have really cool lives like that, and they're the people that we get to have on here. So when they're not here, the loss is there. Okay, I'm almost ready to start showing some weather things here. Almost ready. Sorry it takes so long. And what happens is, if you are watching this broadcast after the fact, like, you should just know that the first 5 minutes are pretty much a write-off. You can just skip ahead in the future. And if you're joining us live here, I'm sorry. Can't help you there. I'm almost done all my work. So starting to get windy here. It was a pretty nice warm day. I mean, considering that we didn't see, oh yeah, gusting out there. Considering that we didn't see, if we lose power here, don't be surprised, it's the mountains. We didn't see any sun at all, but we were still 8-9 degrees or something like that through a lot of the day. So that's amazing for us. Given you would expect it to be chilly, but no, we got the warmer day on. Okay, I'm good to go now. Good to go. Let's have a look at the winds first of all, because I'm starting to hear them out my window finally. I want to know what's going on. Okay, reported winds right now. The winds have started in the interior. We can see where we got a band of precip going on all the way down through to the hills to the east, to the west of Kelowna. Got 18-kilometer reported at Prince George Airport. That's not bad. 39. Here comes Mark Ingalls. Our meteorologist is coming. 52 gust at Williams Lake Airport. That's not bad. So we're picking up there. 44 down there. That's 100 Mile. Yeah. Basically. Hey, Mark.
Good evening. Speaking of breezy boys, if you look right here, you can see the tarps on the building under construction being blown around, and it's quite breezy up here at 515 feet above sea level.
That is whipping out there. Yeah, the winds just started picking up here, which means here comes Hilding as well. I should assign you as a co-host. I'm going to do that because the power could go out here. That happens often.
Okay. Well, and if you try to share something, then I'll be running the show. At some point, actually, we should set it up so that I can run the show and record stuff while if you're out fighting fires and saving lives.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I agree. I agree. Taking some of that, I'm not. I'm just not going to share video off of the internet until I can
Yeah.
trust that I can do that. Something's going on. Something I don't know what that was, but I'm not taking that risk again. Look at this, 86, gusting 98 on the southern tip of Haida. I mean, they're used to that there, but look at that. Look at this clear slot moving into the Caribou. The winds are coming, man.
The wins are here. I will have some figures to show on the show. Fun fact.
Oh, I
I've got them
forgot.
all
I'm
prepped and queued.
I'm not showing the map right now. Hey, Hilding.
It really is a radio show.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Totally is a radio show. I do have also a bunch of La Nina stuff on board, including your article. I
I
wasn't sure if we were going to get you or not, but I want to look at all of it.
Yeah, I have the La Nina stuff for my article pulled up pretty well already. Actually,
Nice.
actually, while I'm thinking about it, I will add that analog year image. I'm glad you brought that up. And I'll share.
I may.
I am intending to screen share, so I will politely request that you don't steal my thunder on this.
Okay, give me a minute there and we'll do that. I wanted to show this real briefly. Just the motion today. Look at this. This is beautiful. Boof.
Wow, that is, and you can see right where the clouds kind of cleared out right here at White Rock about an hour and a half ago. That's when the wind really kicked up. I was playing Minecraft and I heard it.
There's like a weird slowing thing that's going on there. I don't know what that is, but I think that's on their end, obviously.
Yeah, windy, honestly, I love windy, so don't get me like don't take this the wrong way, but looping on windy is not the best.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a lot of small things that I would like to see different in Windy. It'd be cool if you could compare models.
Yeah.
But that's awesome looking. That how that came through today.
I can actually,
All right, I'm gonna shut this off for a minute. Show
okay,
us what
well,
show us
I'm
what
gonna
you
pull
got.
up a better satellite here.
Excellent. Do that.
Um, so give me just a second.
I also have sea temperature maps up and all kinds of cool stuff.
Well,
I'm like right on
when
it
I
this
said
week.
don't steal my thunder, I mostly mean during the actual show.
Great.
I got the stuff ready and it'll be part of my segment. Okay, so here we go. This is the satellite imagery on the right side over in Saskatchewan. That's where it's already nighttime. So they use the nighttime microphysics here in this one. And oh, there's the play button behind my face. All right, it'll take a second to load in, but once it loads all these tiles, it's going to be awesome. Oh, let me add a few frames here.
There's another one like this that I love. That's almost well the exact same image pretty much, but a different.
It's the one from Colorado State, right?
Yeah, I think it is the other one I'm talking about. And I hate that you can't just change where your perspective easily.
What do you mean change your perspective easily?
You know, like you can be kind of locked into this quadrant. You're looking at the Pacific Northwest, but it's not like you can
Yeah.
just take the mouse and go over and then readjust and be like, what's it look like from this angle?
This one is a bit better about that. Oh, I kind of know what you mean.
That is
This one's a
better.
bit, so this one, the one at Colorado State has way more options. But that makes it a lot heavier to run is the problem. And so This one pretty much only displays this. There's a few other parameters here you can see, but it's just a lot more efficient. And so I tend to use it more often for non-specialized type stuff. I think the one at Colorado State's a lot better for like wildfires or something. Dang it, how do I extend this loop? I guess I did not come prepared. I'm sorry to all the, 16 Wow, we have 16. That's pretty good.
Right on. Wow, we
Hello,
just
hello,
tuned
Caribou
in too.
Outlaw.
We just started. Chief
Caribou Outlaw
Pontiac
is
out
earlier
there.
than usual.
Yeah, right on.
Oh,
Steve
here we go.
McCabe
This
there
is
in
how I turn
Portland.
on.
Hey, right
Yeah,
on.
is Steve Mike's brother?
I believe so. Yeah, that's correct.
Oh my goodness. Hello, Steve McCabe.
Maybe heading up to Vancouver, BC.
Okay, so let's load. Okay, here we go. I'm loading 36 frames in. This is going to take a second to load all these tiles, but I think it's going to be worth it. Look at all the tiles that it's loading, 797. No, don't go forward and back. What's wrong with you? All
I
right, here
like
we
it though.
go.
It's cool.
So you can see, yeah, I like this a lot better. And we can zoom in a little closer to the lower
That's
mainland.
so much more functional than the Colorado one. Yeah. Okay, I'm converted.
Right.
I
So
used
this
to.
one is CSPP Geosphere. It's from the University of Wisconsin. Now, again, the one from Colorado State, I actually know a guy that works there on that project. It is a fantastic tool, but it is far better for highly specialized scenarios.
Well, I noticed like
Um,
the detail is really rich on it. Like the quadrant
right.
I have, like I'll use it sometimes because the quadrant I have it at is where the big storms come in off the Pacific. So it's really pretty. But I like the
Um,
functionality of this, the zoom in, zoom out. I mean, that's just so much.
I wonder if they have, I'm going to stop this for a second. I wonder if they have the mesoscale, one of the mesoscale cameras pointed at us. Let's see, mesoscale one. Ah, dang it. It's too far south. It's pointed at California. So, for folks who don't know, these satellites are about 40,000 kilometers up. I think this one, yeah, that one's always up at Alaska. So, these satellites are 40,000 kilometers or so up in geostationary orbit. And they have, well, they have more than just four cameras, but for meteorology, there are four cameras. And I'll highlight here. So, we have full disk, which I have up right now. The full disk camera covers literally the full Earth. And it takes pictures every 10 minutes. Antarctica's at the bottom, Alaska's at the top, and we can get the fringe of Australia over here and the fringe of Brazil. We're looking at the GOES West satellite. And then they have, sorry, I'm going into Professor Ingalls mode, but it's a weather show and you're not paying me, so I can do what I want. They also have the CONUS view,
Well, this is
which
why
on
I
the
don't make
west,
plans.
the CONUS view on the west one covers like the Dakotas down to Hawaii and a lot of offshore, but not very far north into BC. Of course, these are American satellites, so they focus on American interests. And this is higher resolution than the full res, like you could see here. Dang it! I
Oof.
need to stop looping this. Okay, there we go. Dang it! I haven't used this in a while. Can you tell?
No.
All right. So it's better resolution than the full disk, but it doesn't cover as big of an area. This one takes pictures every 5 minutes instead of every 10. And then there's two mesoscale cameras, and they can point these wherever they want. So mesoscale one right now is pointed at Northern California. Um, and these are even higher resolution. Um,
Oh
Though I
wow.
don't know, I don't know that the University of Wisconsin pulls in the max resolution, but this takes pictures every 10 minutes. So there are two of these cameras. That's about the size of the area it can do. And on West, unless something really big is happening, they usually keep. Mesoscale 2 up over Alaska. I don't really, maybe that's just to get a better view because Alaska's, at such a high angle to the camera here. Um, but then the other one they usually float around. Like sometimes we call these floaters too, because they can just move and look at whatever they want. On the goes east, for if anybody's watching us from like Ontario or something, we can also show like this is one of the mesoscale floaters is pointed at like Memphis. There was some pretty strong thunderstorms there earlier today, so they were using that to help with forecasting. The other one's pointed at the northern plains right now. But a lot of times they'll point these at hurricanes, and that's where we get that very high resolution 1 minute imagery off of the hurricanes. And then the CONUS covers, GTA and Montreal. It actually technically does cover BC. Land area technically covers more of BC than the West CONUS, but you can see this is a very high angle, not a very good image to use for forecasting. And then the full disc, full disc is really good for South America. Doesn't catch Alaska. Kind of starts to come in like there's Portugal. So there, that's how these satellites work. And yeah, CSPP Geosphere, University of Wisconsin. If you put that into your favorite search engine, it will get you there.
I got something here to go on. We got a couple lightning strikes in the Caribou, and they would be right around. I bet you this updates and you'll see that this line is about here. Lightning strike somewhere in this neighborhood.
Where are we looking at? There's Highway
That's on
97.
Highway 97. This is just north of Quesnel, Hickson, Stoner.
Oh, okay.
Stoner is where I sometimes would say I was from on like social media or something from Stoner, BC. So yeah, like quite the rain bomb going through Prince George right now.
Yeah, that is nice.
Taking it good, and then yeah, this sort of tail down here, producing lightning in there. I'm pretty sure the
Oh
next
yeah,
radar.
if you stop sharing, I can be like Frankie and show the lightning strike on my phone app.
Yeah, like I got it right here too.
Oh, red dot right there. Yeah, here we go. Team Frankie.
Yeah, Team Frankie.
That was one of the funniest moments on the show, honestly, when he was just like, F this. See, the thing is now that you taught him how to do that, 45 minutes of the show is just going to be Frankie videos.
Oh yeah, he'll just take over. Eh? He's just we're doing this now. It's so funny. Yeah,
I'm
okay,
with,
that's what I got so far on the radar. I mean, we could have a look quickly at southern BC too. We might as well, because probably people from southern BC are on there. Looks like a couple convective little cells out here coming into Barkerville as per usual. That's the afternoon pattern here, and I expect the winds will be picking up for us here soon too in Wells. We heard a couple gusts. Nothing totally cohesive down there, eh? A little bit of rain. A little bit of rain, Seymour Arm on down to Penticton, right through the low country. What about over in Van right now? Looks pretty
well,
nice where you are, eh?
it's all moved out, and I'm in the rain shadow anyway, so like, it's pretty sunny outside. Here,
It does look pretty nice.
like look at that. It's not the best view because it's on a laptop camera, but like,
I think
yeah,
that's pretty. I think that's pretty good. Rain Bomb and Prince George. That's pretty much the show right now in BC, and I'm sure that you're
that
gonna find.
squall south of at Stoner, that's pretty stout.
Yeah, just a little line right there, eh? Even look at
Use
the
the
big
ins
loads.
use the inspection tool and pull up how fast that wind is going. 10 meters per second. So that's really impressive. And the reason for this is because that wind is actually going to be going east primarily. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but isn't that radar site north of there?
It's right nearby. It's right here.
Oh, is it? Oh, is it?
Yeah, right to
Okay.
the west of it, straight.
Okay, so you did correct me for being wrong. But so 10 meters per second, that's off the top of my head like 45 kilometers an hour, and that's what's being picked up by the radar. It's not like it's picking up gusts and stuff. So that's really, I mean, it's not severe by any means, but it could toss a trampoline.
Yeah, I'd like to figure out what is an easy way to calculate that in my head, like just for ballparks.
Why do you
Quite a
have it
few
in
lightning
meters per
strikes.
second? Why don't
So
you just go into the settings and change it?
quite a few lightning strikes. I think I tried. So yeah, it's moved past the highway now. We got 6 lightning strikes there. Yeah, where am I?
Let's see.
Like, I don't think it gives me those
Click
options.
radar,
But
click radar scope. No. Hmm.
like, it's
I
weird. It
never.
doesn't. I always feel like it. There's options that other people are getting that I'm not getting.
Hang on. I will find where this setting is because mine's in miles per hour. It should be in kilometers per hour, but I don't use radar scope very much actually. Like I don't hate it, but I feel like radar omega has more details.
I would like to have switched, and then radar scope just like suddenly renewed there last week, and I was like, oh, I guess I'm stuck with radar
Right.
scope for another year.
I mean, it's not. I like it, and it was the original radar scope is the reason why we have um, good apps like this. They were definitely the pioneer when it comes to that. So I can't hate on them, but where is this?
So in
Hmm.
the topic tonight, Hilding and Karen are there. They've been very quiet so far. Talking about ENSO neutral, what that means, less predictable. Mark's got can have a whole presentation on the end of our La Nina. We didn't need you, La Nina. That's what I say. Looking at
Good
Mark's
riddance. It
article.
wasn't worth anything.
No, that was a real non-story, wasn't it? And I just wonder, like, is the ocean so much extra warm than it should be? Is there
Well,
something going on there?
everything that I've heard, and like I talk to a lot of people who are meteorologists smarter than me, and that's the only thing that I've heard as a possible um cause, but nobody's done like I think research is happening right now, but that won't be out for months or possibly even a couple of years.
Woof.
I do wish Windy showed the sea surface temperature anomalies too.
That would be nice. Slightly cooler, slightly cooler. But yeah, not much to see there, is there?
Right? In the summer, you can really see the upwelling pretty well, but it's not the summer.
We got 5 minutes till Frankie, everybody. 5 minutes till Frankie. Maybe 6, because he's very punctual.
Hilding,
Extre-
Yep.
um, so this week was the 1 year anniversary of the solar eclipse. Did you have any calves born on the 8th?
Yeah, I think we had about 8 calves born on the 8th, I think.
Can you name one Luna for me? One that'll stick around this time.
Okay. Well,
None of them are sticking around.
One that'll
well,
stick around more than like 6 weeks.
yeah, the last one it died like 3 weeks after it happened.
Yeah.
Sounds like a bad omen.
Yeah, but no, I know which one to name it.
All right. That's my cow. If I had a big enough fridge, I'd buy it off of you and have cow for, I'd probably buy a quarter cow, actually. There's only 3 of us here.
Yeah.
So you see some of these are wind gust projections. But I like to look at wind gusts because those are the ones that take down the branches and trees and plus it makes for a more pretty map. So if you look at just at, wind, it's like, okay, yeah, there's some 20s and 30s, and that's going to be a lot of it. But you want to get a sense of like who might get wind that might, crack over some. We don't have any updates since we started here, so 52.
You should switch
57.
this to the HRDPS.
Let's do that.
This will give a better picture because it captures the terrain better, being a much higher resolution product.
And it falls within our time frame as well.
Right. Well, that's the other thing is these high resolution models only go out like 2 days.
So other models are showing windier in the Caribou, but however, it is windy in the Caribou right now. Wind gusts of 60 in areas west of Caribou. So this is some of the change for me. This projection.
Is that common
this
to have
here
the
is what I
wind
expected.
persistent like that west of Prince George?
Pardon me?
Is that common to have the wind persistent like that west of Prince George after a cold front?
To me, that's exceptionally windy.
Okay.
And then look at boom.
Well, there's your Chinook.
Into the piece overnight, yeah. Big gusts.
What's the
by
temperature
Friday
going to be?
afternoon. Let's find out.
Oh, not actually all that warm. Surprising with the downslope.
Yeah, and I remember thinking that myself too. But look, you don't have to go very far to find warm.
Don't have to go very far. Moves the map 1,500 kilometers.
Well, relatively speaking, right? I mean, this is Montana. It's not like it's in
right, and that's
Colorado or it's next door.
30 there.
Pushing 30 degrees Celsius at noon. So yeah, it'll get a little warmer than that, of course. 26s, 27s, 28s.
This will be our next weather maker where I work because it's going to be swinging through the northeastern U.S. on like Tuesday, Wednesday. So at work, we're looking at temperatures being warm for like Chicago and DC and stuff Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And when it's warm, then we worry about people using air conditioning, and that runs how much energy people are using up. And then it cools off and people are using less energy.
Frankie has arrived.
I saw that.
Frankie's here. Okay. We'll shut this off.
Base Guy Show is switching over to Zoom now, too. Because
Is he?
Skype is ending in May.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know you used Skype. Good to see you,
They're
Frankie.
still using Skype?
Base Guy Show is still using Skype. He's switching over to Zoom.
I didn't know that Skype still existed. Well, I did know because every time I open my laptop, it tries to open Skype because of talking to you guys back in the day on it. And yeah, so then every time I'm like, I don't want Skype in my computer anymore, but it does it anyways. Okay, it's a Comedeorological report. Frankie McDonald's here in the house, and it's time to start the show, everybody.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather or not.
It's the Comedeorological report. It's your show about how much the weather sucks in Canada. I am your host, Joey Only here, and right now we got the thunderstorm moving through just near Hickson, BC right now. It's kicking out a bunch of lightning. That's what's going on in the Caribou at this hour, 7 p.m. on the 10th of April, I think. Is that what it is right now? It's the 10th of April, and lots of action happening out right now. Raining hard in Prince George. thunderstorming down there by Stoner into the hills to the east of Stoner, BC. It's your show about how much the weather sucks. I'm Joey Only, the Caribbean Weather Dude up here. You can find us on Caribbean Weather Dude YouTube channel, where we are live streaming right now this evening, or you can be watching us or listening to us on C4 88.7 FM, CKUW 95.9 FM, and CFBX 925 PM. FM, PM, FM, AM, ACDC. That's Prince George, Winnipeg, and Kamloops. Okay, that's me for now. So we got the panel of Comedeorologists on here, of course, starring our friend of the man of the hour, Frankie McDonald, out there in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Got another guy just showing up right now, so that's really exciting. We have Hank Fleester just showing up in the chat. We haven't had Hank on in a little while, so I look forward to talking to Storm Chaser Hank. We also got meteorologist Mark Engels with us tonight to talk all about the La Nina. And we got Hilding Donaldson there, who's been calving right now. We got Karen Richards up in Prince George, where it's blasting rain and whatnot in that area right now. So we got our small panel of people to talk weather and nonsense here from across Canada. And of course, we're going to start off the top of the show, like we always do, with the man of the hour, the world's greatest weatherman out there in Sydney, Nova Scotia. You know him as Frankie McDonald, the man himself.
Frankie!
Can you yodel for us? Who has the worst weather in the world, Frankie?
Ladies and gentlemen, Frankie!
Frankie, we just had 14 lightning strikes in the area here. How you doing, man? How's
I'm
Frankie?
doing great so far. Lots of thunder, lightning going on in BC right now. They got really warm air weather now. Alberta starting to gradually warm up in Nova Scotia and New Brunswick, PEI, Newfoundland. It's going to bring some rain on Sunday and Monday coming up in Nova Scotia and PEI, New Brunswick. It's going to bring a little bit of snow up in northern Maine, wet snow in northern Maine, and the rain's going to turn to freezing rain on Sunday coming up in New Brunswick, in Bathurst, New Brunswick, and Miramichi, New Brunswick. It's going to bring snow up in Baie-Comeau, Quebec, and all those places. And wet snow in Baie-Comeau, Quebec, and up around the St. Lawrence River, Quebec, and up around the northern Maine, USA, and Edmonton, New Brunswick. It's going to bring wet snow there right now. And it's going to bring more wet snow up in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and Thunder Bay, Ontario this Monday coming up. And it's going to bring wet snow in rain to Quebec and Val-d'Or and all those places. And it's going to bring some rain in Nova Scotia next week as well. It's going to bring some wet snow up around northern Ontario as well this week coming. It's going to bring extremely hot weather in California, Arizona, where Gary and Dino is, and New Mexico is going to bring really hot weather next week in New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Nevada, Idaho, and all those places going to bring really hot. And Mexico, too, with windy and hot temperatures in Mexico this week coming. It's going to bring really hot weather in Colorado this Saturday coming, including Denver, Colorado. It's going to get really, really hot temperatures. In Denver, Colorado, it's going to bring so hot temperatures. Temperatures going to be really high in Denver and all those places. It gets really cold in the night. And Salt Lake City's going to get really hot temperatures too.
Even up to Montana, Frankie.
Even up to Montana and parts of Alberta as well. Then it got some cool air going all the way down to southern states as well, like Florida. This week coming, it's going to be cool in Ontario, Great Lakes region, and Jason Marshall, we don't have cookies, his hometown Dayton, Ohio too. And it's going to bring some really warm temperatures down Mexico. It's really dry there right now. In Eastern and Central America, then it's really dry in Mexico. A little bit of rain forecast in Guatemala, Costa Rica, El Salvador, Nicaragua, and Honduras and Panama. And down South America, lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in Venezuela, parts of Colombia, parts of Ecuador, parts of Peru. Lots of rain and thunderstorms in the forecast. And Bolivia too. And Amazon rainforest in Brazil, including parts of Rio de Janeiro with showers and thunderstorms in forecast in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and east coast of Brazil. And Brazil Rio de Janeiro will soon be entering dry season. It's really hot in northern Chile right now. Then it's going to cool down in the northern Chile desert, but really dry. In southern Chile, it's lots of rain in coastal areas of southern Chile. You got a little bit of snow up in mountains of Chile as well. In southern Argentina, warm air, cold air fighting each other. Got pockets of cold air heading towards Stanley, Falkland Islands on Monday coming up. And weather all across Europe is lots of warm temperatures in England, and temperatures going up about 20 degrees Celsius. A lot of people are not used to 18 degrees Celsius in England. That's what they said. It's really hot and warm out in England, Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and all those places. It's really warm out in France. It got showers and thunderstorms forecast in Spain and Portugal and all those places. Then it got some really cold air in Turkey, and it got snowing out in Turkey this Friday coming out. That's tomorrow. Lots of snow in Istanbul, Turkey, and all those places. And they're getting snow in Turkey right now too. After Sydney, Nova Scotia had snow on Tuesday. Now Turkey's getting snow, and parts of Syria is getting snow, and parts of Greece, and all those places are getting snow. It's really cold out, and got flurries in the forecast in Moscow, and showers in Minsk, Belarus, and eastern Poland, and all those places. They got some warm air in southern Norway. Still got some warm air heading towards Norway. They got snow in the forecast in Finland, Sweden, and Norway as well. It's really hot in Morocco, Algeria. They got some cold weather heading all the way down to Egypt and Israel and Jordan and all those places. And lots of snow in Turkey and parts of Syria. And all those places. It's cold there right now. Pretty cold down in Turkey. It's going to get really, really cold, including in Istanbul, Turkey on Friday and Saturday night coming. On Friday night and Saturday. And it's going to get really cold in Turkey as well, and in the other side of the world. And weather all across in Sapporo, Haga, in Japan. Lots of rain in the forecast in Japan, including Sapporo, Japan. It's warming up in Sapporo, Japan. Finally, then it got some cold air heading towards Japan this Monday coming. It got really cold temperatures. It got some rain and a little bit of snow in the mountains in Haga, Japan, including Sapporo. Then it got some rain in the forecast in Japan right now. There's a whole lot of snow in North Korea, including Pyongyang, North Korea, under the dictatorship. And they're bringing so much snow in North Korea, and parts of it's going to be raining in Vladivostok, Russia as well. It's going to bring a whole lot of snow. And in northern North Korea. And it got a whole lot of snow there right now near the China border. There's a lot of snow in northeastern China. Really windy conditions causing wet snow, blizzard conditions and wet snow in China right now. And they got another storm off the coast of Japan. It's going to intensify far off the coast of Japan this Saturday coming. And up around Wuhan, they got the cold front going through Wuhan, China. It's going to bring rain there. It's going to dry up on Saturday in Wuhan, China. It's going to bring lots of wind and snow in Beijing, China, and all those places. It got really cold air in Beijing, China. Mongolia is warming up too. Lots of rain in Hong Kong. They got rain heading towards Hong Kong as well. In North Korea, there's lots of snow in the forecast. And they got some in Vladivostok and parts of northeastern China and eastern Mongolia. Over in the Philippines, lots of rain, thunderstorms in forecast. So is Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and all those places. Then they got some lots of rain heading toward this Saturday coming up. It's going to bring lots of rain in Vietnam, Laos, and parts of Thailand and all those places, and thunderstorms. Bangladesh and Myanmar, lots of showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. India is getting extremely hot and dry weather in India right now. The monsoon season's a couple of months away in India. There's another cyclone could be heading towards northwestern Australia late next week possible. It's really hot and dry in Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, Syria, and all those places. Over in the Middle East and Saudi. Over in the Middle East, it's really hot in Saudi Arabia and all those places, in the United Arab Emirates, Oman, Qatar, Yemen, all those places. It's got cool temperatures in Egypt right now. And Alexandria, Egypt is really cool outside right now. Over in Northern Africa, lots of showers and thunderstorms are forecasted. Nigeria and Ghana and all those places. It's really dry as Sahara Desert. For Southern Africa, weather in Southern Africa is lots of rain, thunderstorms going on in Angola. Namibia is really dry right now. South Africa is getting really hot weather in the fall of the year there. In places like in Mozambique and Botswana and Madagascar, La Reunion and Mauritius Islands. Lots of rain and thunderstorms going on right now in Australia. It's really... Then you got some showers in the forecast in the west coast of Australia. It's really dry in the rest of Australia, except for northern Australia. There's a tropical cyclone could be heading towards Australia next week sometime, at some point, but we don't know yet. It's really just showers and a little bit of showers in the forecast in Sydney, Australia, Queensland, Australia, Brisbane, and all those places. And down New Zealand, the weather for New Zealand is. And for Cargill, New Zealand, got showers in the forecast. It got rain heading towards Invercargill, New Zealand. You got cold front coming from Antarctica. That's going to bring a whole lot of rain in Auckland, New Zealand, Hamilton, New Zealand, New Plymouth, New Zealand, Wellington, New Zealand, Gisborne, New Zealand, Hawke's Bay, Napier, New Zealand, and the north coast of New Zealand. And in Auckland, New Zealand, it's going to get so much heavy rain on Wednesday coming up. It's going to bring so much rain and windy conditions in Auckland, New Zealand. And it's going to bring a lot of heavy rain and wind in Wellington, New Zealand, Nelson, New Zealand, Gracemont, New Zealand, Christchurch, New Zealand, Queenstown, New Zealand, and Dunedin, New Zealand. It could be heading towards Invercargill, New Zealand as well next week. And down Antarctica, starting to get some darkness there right now. Daylight starting to get a lot longer up in the Arctic right now. Next, sometime on May 19th, up in the Arctic will be 24-hour daylight. On May 19th, it'll be the last sunset down below Antarctic Circle.
Wow, what a great weather report, Frankie McDonald. You're just right on top of it tonight.
On May 19th, it'll be the last sunset down below Antarctic Circle.
That's true, yeah.
Once again, in the month of June, there will be 24-hour darkness in Antarctic research stations.
That's going to be great, too, yeah. So, Frankie, I got to ask you about this one.
Joey Arley and his friends.
Just dancing, eh, buddy?
This is for Joey Arley. For British Columbia.
Yeah.
British Columbia.
Singing at Dooley's last night, were you, Frankie?
Steel City in Sydney, Nova Scotia.
Ah, Steel City, just partying up, eh, Frankie? So is it like Steel City one night, then Dooley's the next, or what's your pattern there?
That means that tomorrow night I'll be on Bass Guy Show.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Bass Guy show tomorrow night, everybody. And he's switching to Zoom as well. Anyone got questions for Frankie here on the panel?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I do. But let's let Hank go first.
Yeah, Hank Vlistra, good to see you. You're out walking around. I was going to throw to you next anyway, simply because Brandon Hauk's not here and you're walking around, and we don't want you to be walking forever if you don't need to. Question for Frankie, Hank.
Yeah, Frankie, what was your weather like this past week? What's it been like out there?
Right now, it's beautiful outside in Sydney, Nova Scotia right now. It was snowed out in Sydney, Nova Scotia 2 days ago.
How much?
Around quite a few centimeters of snow before melting.
Whoa!
The snow
Yeah.
melted on pavement and things like this.
We have a lot of snow melting here too, but that's from the winter time still. It's, 75% melted, I would say. Go ahead, Mark. What's your question for Frankie?
Frankie, good evening. Do you remember what happened a year ago this week?
A year ago this week, total solar eclipse headed to Sydney, Nova Scotia.
That's right. It was the total solar eclipse.
He's so good.
Today is the
remembers.
100th day of the year, 2025.
Frankie, what was your favorite part of the eclipse?
When the moon crosses over the sun, I had to wear the eclipse glasses, and then the moon crosses over the sun.
Awesome. Yes, I remembered that. Somebody was sharing pictures in a Discord chat that I'm in. I was like, oh, yeah, that was a good time. We went to
And did you
Arkansas
hear
for
about this?
that.
Next week, Joey Ollie show on his birthday.
Oh, is the 17th next Thursday?
Yes.
Oh, well, good. I won't be spending my birthday alone for a change.
There'll be Joey Ollie show, Joey's birthday edition.
Like the last 6 years, I went from like birthdays being like a huge production. It's like either I had some big concert every year somewhere, in some part of Canada. I try to make sure like I wanted to be in a certain place, so play a show in a certain town around certain friends or family every year. And then the last 6 years, I just did nothing. I turned 40 like alone. I was like pathetic and drunk at the time. It was really terrible. It was really terrible. That's the story of that.
For next year's birthday, come play a show in White Rock, and we'll do something.
That'd be fun. Yeah, it sounds like I might have a gig in Vancouver in October, but we haven't got any details yet. Just an understanding that all parties seem interested.
Ooh, well, if it is convenient for me, I will go.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. I mean, that's like booking
And
agent
what
related.
about Ronnie, one of the listeners of Joey Ollie Show?
Ronnie will probably almost for certain be there. Yeah, Ron's come to a lot of my shows over the years. And yeah, I mean, he's sober now too, but he used to make his own wine out of potatoes, like vodka basically, right?
Just imagine what happens if you did. Just imagine if you did it. Joey Ollie did a music show in Daniels in Sydney, Nova Scotia.
I think that could happen. I'm going to be back, Frankie. I'm going to be playing
Or you
again.
could do it at the Black Diamond in Sydney.
Someday I'll be playing again. Someday sooner than later. I think that
means you
trip down to
could be at the Black
Penticton,
Diamond in Sydney, Nova Scotia.
Frankie,
I was hot, and it was good. It was really good. Everything went really well.
Frankie, if he goes, are you going to be the cover band? Are you going to be the opener band for him?
And Joey Ollie, that means that, and he be going in other cities too.
Yeah, so I think after fire season, I'll start by playing down southern BC, and maybe I'll try to return to the Dream Cafe just because I want to play a full 2 hours on that stage and not just a 45er. And which means I got to work to get myself back up to being able to play 2-3 hours, which is not that hard. I can do that. It just means re-memorizing some songs or laying out like what do I know and then whatever, right? So any other questions for Frankie tonight?
Hi, Karen. How's the weather in Prince George? And how's the Prince George Cougars in the playoffs?
Oh, Prince George Cougars in the playoffs. They lost last Monday, Game 7. They're out. Out.
That means
And
Tell
the
us-
weather here has
that means that
been pleasant.
Tell us about the game, Karen. Tell us about the game.
Well, the game started out good. Did not end out good. We were loud and proud, but it wasn't enough.
There goes the Prince George Cougars losing
Karen.
to the American team there. That's
Karen,
right.
who did they lose to?
Hey
Come
now.
on. Winterhawks.
Oh wait, the Portland Winterhawks.
Whoa,
Yeah.
Bear.
Oh.
Settle down, everybody.
Yeah, just, you know what, Mark? You just never mind.
That's okay.
Yeah, well,
you
look-
guys know my team's the Tri-City Americans, and they probably didn't have a good year this year either.
It looked pretty good off the top there. Parasak scored a nice goal early in the game, and then next thing you knew, it was a 4-2 final, wasn't it? Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, they did good till they didn't do good.
Well, everybody, now it's time for your
I
favorite
think you're here
character.
about this Victoria Royals. That's the last of the British Columbia teams to go.
Yes.
That means Joey Ollie will be going for Victoria Royals this round.
Nah, I won't cheer for Victoria.
Imaging goes by Victoria Royals.
I'm cheering for the Brooks Bandits right now. Speaking of which, it's time for the Brandon Houck Report. The Brandon Houck Report. The Brandon Houck Report. So there is no Brandon Houck Report this week. But we said we would use his time slot to make fun of his Doppler boy doll here.
This is. I mean, obviously it's AI because look at the thermometer, but this is like high quality. I would buy this. I like his little weather radio that he's got there too. So for the radio listeners, it's Brandon Houck with his ginger head and his Doppler boy T-shirt, and he's got a little walkie-talkie looking weather radio and a lightning bolt and a thermometer, and it's like this is pretty high quality.
It's got like a weird like bead on the end of it that someone in the comments here calls it an anal thermometer.
Oh my gosh.
And then, yeah, it's good
That's
actually.
your
And you know
favorite
why
kind,
Brandon's
right,
not in the
Joey?
show tonight? is he actually got a job at a thermometer factory.
Yeah, so now he has mercury poisoning.
Well, it's just temp work. So he'll be back soon.
That took me too long to get.
All right. The Brandon
That
Houck
was good.
Report, everybody. The Brandon Houck Report. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did there. Yeah, Brandon's a beauty, but he's busy with the Brooks Bandits right now. That's why we're all cheering for the Brooks Bandits, more or less, right? And because of doing that, I've now lost my show sound clip folder. I'm terrible at this. But you know what? Mark, this time I got it for sure.
Just got the fat check for pushing that.
My name, Mark Ingalls.
Pushing that agenda. It says here, HARP, climate change, whatever, in my bank account.
Meteorologist Mark, we'll talk to you next for a little bit. You got well prepared, and then we'll come back to Hank there.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm going to open us up talking about today. So it is quite windy here, 515 feet above sea level in White Rock, BC. We had a strong cold front come through. So for the YouTube viewers, what we have here is the satellite, and I'm going to run this through every hour. It has 10-minute data, but I'm just doing every hour. And so we had this cold front this morning. It kind of swung in. And the low pressure system there at 22:30 UTC, that's -7, but we're -7. So that's what time of day that was. Low pressure between Vancouver Island and Haida Gwaii. We run that cold front right through the lower mainland, and that's when the wind kicks in. And now it's heading inland to the land of Joey and Karen and Hilding. So pretty active weather here, but that's kind of it for a little while. We do have a little bit of rain slated for like tomorrow, maybe here in the lower mainland, and then that's kind of it. Like the weather models do try and give us a little bit of rain over in the end of the period after, like, say, the 20th, Easter Sunday. But not a whole lot in general. And this here at the end of the period, like, that may not be real. Because the weather models, we're still in the time of year where, climatologically speaking, it is normal for us to get very showery weather in the lower mainland. But it's hard to say whether that's real or not. This cold front and the whole broader system that's worked through here today is going to progress across North America. Brandon Houck's going to get it there in Alberta. I think Hank's going to get some of it there in Saskatchewan. And what we're looking at is it'll make it like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I'm going to be dealing with this at work where I forecast for energy related stuff in the northeastern US. So like Toronto is going to be warm Monday, Tuesday. Same with Montreal and whatever. But then that cold front comes through and it really cools it off for the rest of the week. So I don't remember off the top of my head exactly when it comes through Toronto or Montreal or whatever. But once the cold front comes through, that's kind of it for the end of the week. But then week 2 is looking pretty warm. Now, the main story today, of course, is La Nina is officially dead. So it's dead, Jim. Take its stuff. Sea surface temperatures. So this was expected. Of course, La Nina was a bit of a dud this year. We had expected a lot stronger of an event, and that it took forever to form. It finally became La Nina in like December, and by the time we got to December, we were like, well, I don't think this is going to last as long as we thought it would. And kind of early thought is it might be because ocean temperatures across the world are just so far above average right now, like globally. There are very few places where the ocean is below average, and that may have driven it, but no official research has come out. That takes months or years to do.
That's going to increase the lots of typhoons over Japan this summer coming.
Is it? I don't know much about typhoon season.
And typhoon season's good, and warm water's going to be warmer water specific. That's going to cause more typhoons in Taiwan, China, Korea, Japan, and Hong Kong.
Well, you heard it from the man himself. So we still have.
And if it doesn't cause them, Frankie will.
Frankie always has a way of causing problems.
That's
So
Mike just showing up, by the way, too. Mike McGregor there in Winnipeg has jumped on the panel. Continue, Mark.
yes, so we do still have a little bit of below average temperatures. La Nina is the cold phase by the equator in the Pacific. El Nino is the warm phase. And we do have some warm temperatures over by the Galapagos off of Ecuador. But overall, like it's pretty close to average. And we call that enso neutral. Enso neutral years are more unpredictable. Um, in the Pacific Northwest and BC, they produce stronger winter storm or fall storm seasons, more active storm seasons. That's part of why we had so many windstorms here in the Lower Mainland last fall, was because we were in enso neutral. And so moving forward, there's not a strong signal to really go anywhere with this. The long range models are showing that we remain enso neutral through the summer, at least, probably into the fall. So we may be looking at another good fall storm season, which I love as a weather nerd. But we did lose power because somebody left their balcony furniture out and it blew into a substation and knocked out power to thousands of people here in South Surrey, White Rock area. Um, and Vancouver Island, it's like a third of Vancouver Island lost power in one of those storms. Anyway, so that's possible. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and guarantee anything 3 days in advance, let alone 6 months in advance. And then, the model, like, if you take all the models and point them forward, it all just points at enso neutral into the winter. So we'll see what happens as the model gets further into the future. Of course, it gets less accurate, and also spring is the most unpredictable time of the year. So as we get towards spring of 26, it becomes especially unpredictable. So this summer, we're still looking at a couple of analog years here. We have 2022, and the reason why I picked this is because warm water in the Gulf of Alaska. And then we have 2018, 2006, and 2001 as analog years for the Pacific Northwest. And I'm sorry for, well, actually, they're good analog years for the rest of Canada too. I only really know what they did here, though. So I'm sorry for our
What
listeners. in
sort of
Winnipeg.
worries me about that is the fact that all three of those have different kinds of fire seasons. Like, there's not something I can just go, well, 2022 and 2018 were the same. Like, no, not really.
Well,
Oh,
and also,
Can I mention
one-
2018, things friggin' burned, man.
yeah, what's up, Mike?
Justin and I are working on a project actually for creating our summer outlook, and we picked analog years 2018, 2006, 1996, and 1984 because they're after a strong El Nino, going to weak La Nina, and then going into neutral, which is basically kind of those years reflected off O and I. So it's cool that you're using other analogs. It's interesting that you picked those years. Just thought
Well,
brought
and
that up.
we have some overlap there too, because '06 and '01. '01 was actually, out of the 4 years I looked at, was the outlier for the Pacific Northwest. It had well below average temperatures as a whole. Obviously, there were warm days still, and it had above average precipitation. I actually remember I lived in Tacoma, Washington at the time. And I specifically remember that summer starting late that year. But '06, 2018, and 2022 were hot and dry, except for 2022 did have quite a bit of thunderstorm activity in the Columbia Basin and BC interior.
Yeah,
I
it was
think,
it was a high precip storm year too. And it wasn't
yeah,
until August that we had what I would consider to be a normal fire season in 2022. An average, like nothing crazy really happened. There was some big fires and some ripping activity at times, but no, like in terms of like overall activity and how busy firefighters were, and it wasn't an extreme season. There was some work. Yeah, there was the Battleship fire, for example, that absolutely exploded when we were working up in Mackenzie, and they're going to send us over there. And then this rainstorm came through and put like 140 mils through the Pine Pass, just washed out all the roads into the Battleship fire. So there's like crews that were stranded they were cut off because their roads washed out and whatnot. And so it's like, well, I guess our season's over. And if you see those videos from 2022 at the end of our season, we're all in a good mood, and it's because we know that there's absolutely nothing that we could, our season's done. Anything that's burning now that was worth getting sent to is cut off. The roads are wiped. And just
22 came after the really bad fire year in 2020.
21.
And
2020 was dead. 21 was good.
Okay, 2020 was horrible in Washington and Oregon. They had that big fire event on Labor Day weekend that in Washington, Labor Day weekend of 2020 burned more acres of land than any other week, like 3-day period in Washington state history. We had a backdoor cold front, and so we come off of 2020, which had the extreme fire season where I was living, and then 2021, where we had that extreme heat wave where Lytton, how do you pronounce that? Lytton hit 49.6 C, 121 Fahrenheit. It was one of the deadliest natural disasters in Canadian history, deadliest natural disaster in Washington state history. I actually got to advise the National Weather Service committee that was looking at the new state record. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, so we had come off those two very extreme years, at least in my perspective. And then 22, like, it was hot and there were the thunderstorms, but it didn't seem very extreme.
No, it was,
Of
like
course.
I say, it was high precipitation storms.
Right.
In
right.
fact, in a lot of ways, 2022 was almost like 2019. 2019 didn't have much of a burn season, but it had like a lot of thunderstorm activity. And like, you're seeing that already in the Caribou here. There goes my lightning detector off right now as I say it, where we're into a pattern right now of convective behavior. Oh, look up by Willow River. It's just friggin' flashing right there, heading towards Newlands by Upper Fraser, McGregor. So thunderstorm active right now. So we're in a pattern where early in April already we're having afternoon convection that's achieving thunderstorm status, right? They're not just little grapple squalls, which, you'd expect to see grapple squalls on the daily. But what I'm seeing right now to me feels more like early May. So we're into the pattern. I think we're going to see, unless something changes, we're going to see convective consistently across the Caribou, central interior BC and whatnot. How much rain? And I was talking with Sal, like the boss at Quesnel Wildfire. They were out here for our community meeting last night. So I was talking to my two bosses from BC Wildfire Service, and I was saying, like, I think there's going to be a lot of lightning this year. I don't know. I can't guarantee you what rain will do. And to me, that's what what we're finding here with what you're saying. Like these neutral years, they're a little more unpredictable. There's not a common theme, although heat seems to be there.
Right. So I'll beat the dead horse here and tell everyone the thing that worries me, and this is not a guarantee, but the thing that worries me is we are having a pretty moist spring. And then if we have these above average temperatures and we shut down the precipitation train, well, we're going to dry out all of those fuels, all of the brush, all of the grasses in the arid regions. We're going to dry all that out. And then we're one dry thunderstorm away from a huge wildfire event. I can remember in 2012, we had this happen, and a dry thunderstorm ran up the east slopes of the Cascades from like Bend, Oregon, all the way up into the Okanagan, and it just lit fire after fire all the way up Bend and the Dalles and Yakima, Wenatchee, all the way up.
Well,
And
almost
so-
every one of these big fire outbreaks here in BC has kind of gone that way. I mean, especially 2017 was very obvious, where like a week out, I was like, well, there's not going to be any rain, and a dry cold front comes through. And that's the dry cold front thing, right? The dry cold front comes through. It's like hot for days, and suddenly this cold front comes through. It doesn't come with any moisture whatsoever. It just comes with wind. And the winds rip. And so you either get like a line of thunderstorms at the front of it, or you get this crazy wind event. One or the other seems to be the case with these dry cold fronts that we get in the summer. That seems to be anywhere in Western Canada, the Western United States, if that happens for you. So I think in 2022, we were getting so much of the low pressure was centered into BC that you were getting the dry sector down there in Washington State, maybe getting some ability for, was it, or 2020 you said, 2020. where you got big fire outbreaks where we just got rained on. And it rained in 2020. Just poured.
2020, what happened was it was a backdoor cold front. So Alberta got really cold there in the beginning of September, and that cold came over the Rockies. Well, by the time it made it into the Columbia Basin, all of that water had been sucked out of it by the mountains. And so we had wind gusts to like 80 kilometers an hour. We had temperatures around 25 C, and we had relative humidity values below 10%. I think at one point in Astoria, which is on the Oregon coast, the dew point was 7% and the temperature was 25 C. Okay, and this is the Oregon coast where, typically it's very rare to hit 25 C at all in Astoria, let alone that dry. And so it was all one cold front that did this. And this was a windy cold front, not a dry thunderstorm cold front. But either way, if the fuels are dry and a fire starts, if it's windy, that's it. So, now is the time to prepare. The way to prepare is to make sure that you have brush cleared around your home, that you have your defensible space, and that you have a go bag in case you need to leave rapidly. We evacuated our apartment building here on Sunday because the fire alarm went off, and we quickly realized we were not prepared. Like, we left our passports and work visas up here, and luckily it was a false alarm. But now those are in our go bag. Passports, work visas. We've got a stuffed animal for my daughter and some medicine. If you need it, you should have it in your go bag just in case you have to leave. Because especially in the BC interior, even rural parts of Saskatchewan or Manitoba, like,
The fire danger is going to climb up for them, southern Saskatchewan, southern Alberta next week.
Yes, that's
With
true.
those
That's
warmer
true.
conditions. Grass Fire
And
City.
there are times when you don't wait for the government to tell you to leave. You need to go.
Well, you know
And
the
so
story of how I got all the Shoe Schwab strong hats and T-shirts and whatnot. It was
No.
exactly that. And before I tell that story, like, for the listeners and viewers out there, when you're sitting there in the summertime, you're like, wow, 32, 33, 34 degrees. Look at this, next week's going to be awesome. And then on the 7th or 8th day of that trend, suddenly it says 18 or 17.
All little kids should have stuffed animals.
that
That's
is
when
absolutely true.
That's when your dry cold front's coming, and that's when extreme fire behavior is probably going to precede it. And that's what happened
Now,
here last year. The cold front fired up all these thunderstorms that exploded, wind, hail, lightning everywhere, and the fire behavior here ripped and it ran. It doesn't matter. It ran over logging blocks. It burnt across swamps. It wouldn't have mattered if you were fire smarted, unless you were there actively fighting it. You would have lost what you had. That fire behavior didn't care. It's rolling. So that those times when that behavior is likely, when that kind of thing, that look for into the 30s all week. Then suddenly, on Sunday, it says it's going to be 17. Wow, that's red flag. Red flag. We've been talking about this for a while, and Hank, it's getting dark in Saskatchewan, so I do want to jump over to Hank for a minute before we come back to the Nino topic. Hank,
Hi.
we'll see you soon if we don't get to you.
Yeah, I'm not under any lights right now, so I'm just a silhouette. Mark was talking about it being windy, right? It is not windy at all here in western Saskatchewan today, especially tonight. It's calm as can be. We do have some wind gusts coming in tomorrow, and we're in the middle of a heavy-duty snowmelt. We've had a group of days in the mid-teens, and we've got not much. We've got like 80% of our snow cover gone just in the last 3 days alone. Like, it used to be 80% covered in town, where it's a little more shady. And now it's 80% gone after 3 days of melting in the mid-teens. So it's been exciting for me.
Well, Kindersley Airport reports 11 C still 35 minutes ago. And
My-
16, 17 down in Brooks 35 minutes ago. So it's pretty warm out there.
Yeah, I got up to 16 here in Wilkie today, or it was supposed to anyways, and it probably did. It's been good. It's been fun. Really nice to get the warmth back. By far the warmest days of the year this week. And my son and I are planning to go disc golfing on the weekend to celebrate. Oh, now you see my face a little bit. And then, yeah, it's going to get a little cool again. By Sunday, we might get a little bit of mixed precipitation in the morning, maybe some wet flakes falling, but it's not going to amount to much.
Hank Vliestra there. Mark's got still things he wants to say to wrap up the La Nina talk. And I know Mike wants to maybe ask a question or add a pointer there around tornado season.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say, we had a good 5 or 10 minutes of kind of doom and gloom, and I don't want it to end that way. You should be prepared, and preparation saves lives. But also note, like, the vast majority of people will not need their go bag this year. You want it if you are one of those people, and you will not know if you're one of those people until it happens. But, preparation saves lives. You don't have to be worried about it. I live in the tsunami hazard zone, and I still go down to the beach and stuff. It's the same way with fires. And so, like, it's not doom and gloom. Just be ready. And that is how you survive an extreme event.
Yeah, and I meant to add, the reason I got that Shuswap strong hat and shirt and whatnot was because when I looked out at the Long Ranger and I realized what was coming, and I started making dramatic forecasts a week and a half out, in 2023, like, look out. And I said specifically on Weather Watchers, if you're in Scotch Creek, like 4 days before the event, leave now. Don't stay. Don't wait for the evac order. This weather pattern's going to come. It's going to hammer. It's going to do what it did. So a whole bunch of people did, and they had livestock and things like that. They had cows and sheep and things, and they got it out of there. And then after it all happened, they're like, wow, it's exactly what Joey said, no matter what all the conspiracy lunatics said after the fact. And they sent me a bunch of thank yous. True story. Mike wanted to talk about tornado season, Mark, and tie into your La Nina talk.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of the trends, the years we pick for analogs, tend to have the jet stream cutting into the Pacific Ocean, going over the western prairies into the eastern prairies. Sometimes there's ridging, but we noticed the tornado numbers from Manitoba and Saskatchewan are higher than average during neutral years because we don't have the influence of that upper jet cutting in northern Pacific Ocean into northern BC. Would there be any reduction in severe storms this summer because of this possible smoke that occurs? Despite the numbers being a little bit higher in our analogs.
That's a really good question, and smoke does impede thunderstorm development from time to time. But I think I may
Until
be
it's
wrong
helping
here.
it.
Well, right. I may be
Yeah.
wrong here, but peak thunderstorm season in Manitoba is like late June into August, or late July into August. And if we do have a bad severe or a bad fire season here, then I think that could lower it based on the jet stream pattern, because the same jet stream pattern that under ENSO neutral years that produces those thunderstorms is the same one that'll pull in the smoke. And so it's kind of a catch-22 sort of situation. I would lean towards that. Well, actually, the last few years, there has been quite a bit of smoke pulled down into the northeastern U.S. and from BC and Northwest Territories. And that would have to cross Winnipeg. So it's possible. We certainly don't have enough data to say whether that's going to happen or not. But yeah, I
Well,
would
you need
think
to have fires first of all, so you can't
right.
say for sure, right?
So I would think if we do end up, if we're getting to like late June to mid July and we've got quite a bit of burning going on here in BC, then I'd say that is a possibility.
There's no snow reported like Hay River, Fort Simpson, Fort Liard up there, like the graphs show nothing for snow up there.
Well,
And
that's
in
because
parts of
it's
the
going to be 7
Yukon,
degrees this weekend.
it's like
Normally
they've
this
lost
time of
all their
year,
snow already, is what I'm saying,
Yes.
right? They're without snow by the time we get to next week, by the time we get to my birthday at this time, there'll be no snow in much of the Northwest Territories. So what is that going to mean for their fire season? A continuation, I would expect.
I think the same, and the early snow melt, like we talked about earlier, is going to have all that brush grown. Well, if the brush is done growing in April or early May, we still got several months before it snows again in Yukon and Northwest Territories. Obviously, except for the mountains.
Yeah, and our snowpack over the prairies this summer hasn't been the best. We're still in a low drought, but in my area, we're not really in a drought status, but areas in southwestern Manitoba are having some problems with drought. So I think that'll probably be on the increase this summer, especially as you mentioned, it's going to end up being drier for most. So that's something we're also concerned about is increased levels of drought. It's already been dry, and we're heading up into like the teens and plus around 20 degrees this weekend. So
There pretty much will be no snow in the southern prairies by this time next week. That's my expectation.
The one thing I'll add, Mike, is the small amount of stuff I did look at for the prairies indicated that it's kind of an either or situation. These analog years that come off enso neutral years can produce a lot of rain and thunderstorms, which is why the tornado count is up. But they can also be pretty severe drought years too. It is the conditions are just more volatile under enso neutral years, which means that they're less predictable.
Yeah, people are saying in the comment that the prairies are way below their normal precipitation expectations, and it seems that way, especially with the dry and the warm coming up. It looks like there won't be any snow in grassy plains, British Columbia either, Hilding, by this time next week, if there is any at all at now anyways.
well, quickly add that we were supposed to get a snowstorm this weekend, and weather models have backed off on that quite significantly. Like we're not even remotely considering a possibility of getting snow or upwards of 30 centimeters. We might even just get a couple of centimeters of snow this weekend. So yeah, I think we're in a drought pattern. I'll throw it over to Hilding.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because here now our snow is just about gone. The lakes have very slashy bits on them for ice, and I went through an interesting one on Monday, Joey. We had
Your volume's a little low, Hilding.
what's that?
Your volume's a little low.
Oh, okay. Is that better?
Yeah, just eat the
Okay.
mic for now.
Yeah. On Monday, I went into town and we had gusty wind all day, but not really, little squalls coming through. Wasn't thinking much. Between here and the ferry, when I went through grassy plains, all of a sudden I came to a spot where there was just like about 2 kilometers of road where there was 6 inches of fresh slush on the road. It was worse than going up over the connector last week. I actually hit a patch of the slush and lost control of the truck. It just about went in a ditch. And by the time I got down to the ferry, it was all gone. By the time I came home later on that night, it was dry. That's kind of an interesting, I never guessed that you'd get that much snow in such a small area. But that's what we're having right here. Little squalls, spring squalls.
One squall.
The breaking news: temperature is 2 degrees Celsius in Yakutsk, Russia.
2 degrees Celsius. Breaking news right now. Frankie reports 2 degrees in Yakutsk. Yeah, I had a drive like that going into Quesnel there yesterday, Hilden, where I went in yesterday morning and it was snowing hard when I left here. Big old snowflakes there. Like, egad, I looked out the window. I got to drive in this shit one more time, of course. Yeah, okay, let's do it. And it was sketchy, man. You know me, I'm a good winter driver. But it's like that kind of slush. I was like, fighting. Of course, I'm driving the little car right now, not the truck, and it's just that's some heart up in the throat there moments.
Sammy's over.
The first ones I've had in months.
It's
The
gonna be
road's
really
thawed
bad.
now.
It's gonna be a really bad fire season in Siberia, including Yakutsk.
It's gonna be really bad in Yakutsk this year. I heard, Frankie.
And but the war is still going on. But they're not fighting any fires because of war.
Want to see some crazy stuff, Frankie?
There's a lot of restrictions going on in news media over in Russia due to the war.
You're not allowed to watch our show in Russia. It's against the law. If they find out you're watching our show, you get shot, Frankie.
That's a bit extreme. Is that real?
So, my friend Pixie, I've known there for a long time from the punk scene. They live right in the heart of where Mark's live right in the heart of where the ice storm hit, and they just got their power back last night, and that's 9 days, maybe 10. They went without power through central Ontario there, Huntsville, Bracebridge, and there's just a couple pictures here just showing some of the ice, some of the things that happened there around Pixie's place. Crazy. I've been in April during ice storms in Ontario that were maybe not this significant, but were pretty good. There was a time we were in Sudbury, and I was like, it was my birthday. I was like, let's go down. We'll go down to Toronto this morning, and we'll catch R.A. Dickey. He just become a Blue Jay, R.A. Dickey. And then there was like ice storm out, so I was like, no, I guess not. I won't bother. And then R.A. Dickey let off like 7 runs in the first inning, and I was like, man, I'm so glad I didn't drive in an ice storm 5 hours down to Toronto today. But yeah, 9 days without power they went. Isn't that something for suffering? You know, that's still a lot of snow in Ontario for this time of year, I suppose. But, you know, it's, having to eat outside and making pizzas on top of the wood stove because, you got to eat your food before it thaws, so you got to eat it. You got to do something with it. So it's like try to eat everything in the freezer over the course of 9 days. Now, if it's 4 or 5 days, you can just leave your freezer closed and everything will still probably be frozen up until, like I've had that when we had 4-day power outage here. And I just kept the freezer closed. It's like, well, don't open the freezer. Don't let the cold out.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is all those chunks of ice in there, they're all insulating themselves. Your freezer will keep things cold. So if you have like a deep freeze, make sure if you think you're going to be a couple days without power, you take whatever's in your fridge freezer and throw it in the deep freeze.
I've also heard too that you can put everything from the back and use that first, or use the stuff in the front first and the stuff in the back last.
Well, what I'm saying is like if you have a deep freezer, like I got a couple, take what's in your fridge freezer and throw it into there if you think you're going to be 3, 4, or 5 days without power. Because the fridge freezer is small, things will thaw much quicker in a fridge freezer. Whereas if you throw them in the deep freeze and just leave it closed, all the ice in there. I mean, and what you see here in Wells, even though it was 8 or 9 degrees today, nothing melted. Part of that's because it's like everything refreezes over the night and then has to thaw again. And by the time it does, it gets moving, it's freezing again. But also part of it's the weight of how much snow we have here compacts the snow. So once the snow is at this level at this time of year, it's not like you can go out and walk on it in the morning, but then you're up to your knees or your thighs by the afternoon when it turns soft. But then at nighttime it refreezes. So it's like, it's very dense. It's water heavy, very dense snow. Digging my car out the other day was like, I had to use like a pry bar to smash through a bunch of like shit that my tires were like frozen into the ground. Yeah, it was cave manning around here. But yeah, you know, the usual.
We haven't had a decent snowfall like that in Manitoba in at least over 4 or 5 years. I remember 2022, it was above my head at a couple of points when they were doing street work and the sidewalks you could barely see around the corner of the streets, people getting in car accidents. But yeah, it's crazy amount of snow you get out there, Joey.
Yeah, we get that every year. Hank.
I was going to say I saw 4 tundra swans flying over as I was walking there earlier. So it's the first time I've seen those. And I did see a few snow geese on the weekend, but further south, not quite here up to Wilkie yet. So migration's just starting.
I sure noticed when I went down to Penticton. First thing I noticed is we went south to Quesnel and then down to Williams Lake. I seen eagles, and then swans. I was like, wow, it looks like everything's moving. It's springtime in the Caribou, not in Wells yet. But we won't have, like, our ice won't thaw until after Mother's Day generally. I've seen it as late as the 29th. There's still ice floating on the lake here, 29th of May. So, like, what I talk about when in terms of, like, losing the snow, now you got a sun-exposed bank in the steep side of the hill. That will melt off pretty fast. Everything on the north flank of a mountain.
It's still really cold in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia. It's still negative 10 degrees Celsius in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia.
The poor people of Mongolia, Frankie. It's always too hot or too cold. And there's never enough water.
And Mongolia is going to get really hot soon.
And it's still 7C right now, and it's been overcast all day. So that just tells you about how that Pacific flow is coming on in. Frankie, we're already coming to the end of a show already.
And here's the advertisement for the Base Guy show, upcoming Base Guy show.
I got that. I think I downloaded that right here, Frankie. So what we found last week is I can download stuff, but as soon as I try to...
Hey, I'm going to show you the video. Hey, everybody. I'll be on Base Guy show on Friday, April 11, 2025 at 11. Hey, everybody. I'll be on Base Guy show on Friday, April 11, 2025 at 11:50 p.m. Atlantic, 10:50 p.m. Eastern. Hey, everyone, have to go see me on Base Guy show then. And once my segment's done, Patrick Mackett, a.k.a. Sky in the Universe, will join Base Guy show after me. Everyone have to go see me on Base Guy show at 11:50 p.m. Atlantic, 10:50 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night on April 11, 2025 on Friday. See me then for Frank Donald.
So I can share off my computer videos directly off my computer, but when I tried to share screen share videos, that's when my computer crashed all those times. So what I think I should do, Frankie, is on Thursdays, I should just compile the Frankie videos of the week and make an edit, and then I can export that and save it on my computer and then just play it off.
That means you can download it on YouTube. You can download my YouTube videos.
Yeah, I think we'll do something like that because I don't want to not have Frankie videos in the show. But I mean, clearly the last 2 weeks when my computer crashed 5 times, we can't have a show like that either, can we?
That means you got to download my past weather reports.
That's what we'll do, Frankie. We'll
and
do
my
this.
comedy videos.
And your comedy videos especially. Those are my favorite. Always my favorite. And sometimes the weather videos are out of date because it's like, well, that happened on Monday and now it's Thursday. But the comedy videos are never not funny. They're always funny. No matter how many times I watch them, they're funny.
If you want to follow me on social media, my Blue Sky is at Frankie MacD. My ex formerly Twitter is at Frankie MacD. My link tree is Frankie MacDonald. My Facebook is Frankie MacDonald. My Threads is at Frankie MacD924. My Instagram is Frankie MacD924. My TikTok is FrankDonald924. My Clapper is FrankDonald924. My Twitch is FrankDonald924. My Snapchat is Frankie MacD1. My YouTube channel is Stocks Lewis, and my LinkedIn is Frankie MacDonald. Best luck to you. I'm Frank Donald. You're listening to Comedeorological Weather Report every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic.
That's Frankie. I'm Joey Olney here, Wells, BC. Of course, we had meteorologist Mark Ingles with us tonight. We had Hank Vlistra with Storm Chasers out in Saskatchewan chasing the sunset. Mike McGregor there was from Winnipeg. Hilding Donaldson, of course, my buddy from Grassy Plains, with us as well. We've been out with calving season out there, having lots of little baby calves. And Karen Richards was here earlier to talk about how she was at the Prince George Cougar game, which was an abysmal, colossal, sad loss to Portland Winterhawks. Well, that's the show this week. And if you've been watching on Caribou Dude YouTube on the live stream, if you'd want to watch us on the live stream, make sure to tune in Thursday nights at 6:30 p.m. here, Joey Only channel. Okay, I think that's more or less the show, Frankie.
That's the show.
Yeah, I mean, we can live stream a little longer, but that's the show, buddy. And you were great. Did I tell you that?
Yes, I'm
Good
great.
job. Good
Frankie,
job.
you're so great, Frankie, that someone posted a meme of you with dancing around with a tornado siren, making tornado siren noises. I shared it in the group chat a while back, but I thought that was funny. that someone thought of you would add that to their video of tornado sirens in Oklahoma.
You're so great. There's 50 people impersonating you on social media. And I keep reporting them, Frankie.
Yes.
I reported the new one. And
that means you're keeping it local on them.
Yeah.
Local for fake front down counts.
I reported them and it's still there. Facebook's like, well, we don't care.
That guy deletes it.
Yeah, Facebook hasn't stopped him yet.
How about you message the guy and say, I'm the real Frankie, you're not the real Frankie. Can we have a Frankie feud?
Frankie feud.
Oh, Frankie's gone.
Full on Frankie feud.
He's just gone.
Yep.
Did he get abducted by aliens? I
It's
was wonder
possible.
that.
You can never rule it out. 100%.
No, he's not abducting he's yeah, you know what I'm saying. He's with them. He's in on it with them.
Hey, Joe, I wanted to add earlier you mentioned about power outages. I remember as a kid in high school, we had about a 3 or 4 day event in St. James where we had no power. We had to use candles for lights. And I remember it was like super cold that year. Like hydro was taxed to the max. It was before they actually fixed the power grid to where it is right now. And I was like, this is so cool. I could live like this for the rest of my life. And then power comes back on. I'm like, oh, geez. You know, I think now I know how, in a sense, how pioneers used to live. And like that whole entire pizza on top of a stove, that was unique.
Well, that's what I used to like about Wells is when I first moved here and the power went out, people were like, power's out. Let's get drunk in the street. And now it's like social media time and everyone's got cell phones and there's still internet when the power goes out. And you just hear that everyone's generators turn on across town. It's like, okay. So even the mountain folk are starting to become more and more fucking city. It drives me nuts. I knew the cell phone was a bad idea in this town, but now even I got one.
Yeah.
Just pretend you don't have it. I go off grid.
I can't. Every 10 seconds, like, you guys are dinging on the group chat.
No doubt.
Which I like. Which I like.
Not for me. I can't get cell phones at my house. So if the power goes out and the internet's down, I'm isolated.
Yeah, that's the way it should be. I like that. Remember back in the day there, Mom and I had an ice storm in Ontario back in 1985 or something, and it was like 4 days without power. And of course, your little kid, that just went by so fast. I bet you for her it was like 4 days. My God, this is what we're talking about for snow by this time next week. Not good. Look at that. Gust of 52 reported at the Quesnel Airport 21 minutes ago. Gusty out there. 89s on CWZV. Ship reporting 54 out there.
That's crazy.
52s up the Vancouver Island North Coast. 32s. Pretty good. But yeah, there you go. A nice 40. But look at this. These are steadies through the interior right now. 25 Kamloops up to 35. I mean, those aren't blasting winds. 52 in Kelowna. That's not bad. These aren't blasting winds, but there's nowhere that's got a calm reporting. Right?
Is that got to do with the orographic lift there?
No, this low is just moving through right now. So okay. What's going on? Here, we'll switch over to rain thunder. This low is moving through right now. So we got this dry sector right now in behind as well, right? The dry slot. Here's your cold front somewhere out here, and blah blah blah, right? It's going to start spreading precip into the Rockies and into northern BC, and then into the Peace side, and it's going to come accompanied there with some really really strong winds. Like the strongest winds will come for the Peace. So, but the fact that it's overproducing in my estimation through the Caribou today, like in that 36 hours ago, my forecast was for maybe that 22 to be like as strong as it gets in Williams Lake. And to me, I was expecting the winds to really stack up here, which is what is happening and going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It was windy here on Monday, and the funny thing was, just some tiny little puddles had small little ice shoves. So the ice was blown by the wind onto the one side, the one shore of the puddle, and then it was piling up against each other. So it's funny to see it happening on such a small scale.
Oh, speaking of puddles, it's really soggy in Winnipeg right now. We had rain just the other day, and got like our ground is super saturated from all the rain we got last summer, and the snow is melting on top of it. So when you're standing on the grass, when you step on the grass, it's like mush and mud. Geez, I love being in the prairies during the spring months. Sarcasm.
How is there not a special weather statement for the piece over this?
Mhm.
That's what I don't get. You know, like
98 kilometers an hour, that should be like warning criteria.
how is there not a special weather statement or a watch or, I just don't get it. All models showing strong winds early Friday in the piece. That's where the worst of it's going to be, into the Alberta side out to Grand Prairie. Like, I know, I don't understand sometimes why. I mean, they had special weather statements for Vancouver Island and whatnot this morning. And it didn't stay that windy down there for that long. I mean, the event's up here, right? That's where the low is passing through. So yeah, here's what, a little earlier today, just to give you an idea, that low is going to move out towards Fort St. John. Well, it's going to try to, kind of falls apart and then starts to restructure itself more or less,
Like
right?
the same lows
There it
bring all
goes.
the warmth to us. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a strong southerly flow ahead of that. That's where all the warmth is coming in for us.
It's going to be really nice to all this country. And what we were seeing pre-show was this won't look far enough out, but even then, look at Montana and Wyoming and whatnot. High 20s later on this weekend there.
Wow.
High 20s.
Yeah, and then I think next week on the 20th or the 24th, they're saying there could be some periods of severe weather for the northern plains, like from, I guess, all the way from Oklahoma up to southern North Dakota and Minnesota and Iowa.
I don't understand what's going on, how there's not more of a severe outbreak happening there with how cold it is in behind, how warm it is to the south, but there's not much expected there.
No, they're talking late April. And Michael, what I'm hearing is the worst of it's going to be in Texas and Oklahoma in late April and early May. But that's typical.
Yeah, typical for this time of year. It could be that that drifts more north into May and June. It's always interesting to see what kind of big events we get out of these systems this time of year. I was gonna make a joke that I think Brandon Hook with that whole thing that he made earlier should make more AI things for him. So next week we have it on the show for him.
Oh, there's interference. Damn the triangles when they happen. So somewhere south of Dawson Creek, there's a big triangle. But some of that precipitation is starting to move up into there. It looks like there's some snow falling. I would say a lot of that looks like snow so far. Look at all the lightning shots on there, though.
That was probably what's making your lightning detector go off like crazy earlier.
Surprisingly cohesive. Oof, look at him, eh? Wow. 30 meters, 32 meters per second. That storm is kicking out some friggin' wind.
That's probably what, 65 kilometers an hour approximately?
I'm not sure. I want to find a way to make an easy calculation in my head of that. So
You
I
can
don't have to
actually
every
change
time.
the settings on there to kilometers an hour.
Yeah, we tried, and there's like for some reason my settings just doesn't have. See, I got it on metric units. Like it's on metric.
Yeah.
I
think it's a little more than double, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's a little less than double, somewhere near double. Double the meters per second.
And usually I go, I do this like, hey Bixby, what's 32 meters per second in kilometers an hour?
I didn't have dinner.
Those units can't be converted.
You fucking liar.
First,
Can't be converted?
That's an artificial intelligence for you. Look at that beast there, eh? Still a good little flasher that just ripped through Upper Fraser. I wonder how much, if there's power outages and whatnot
I'm gonna
there.
head out, guys.
Yeah, I gotta make some food myself. Start with some cheesies. And go from there. Yeah, look at that. It's cranking lightning out. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20, 26, 26 plus 5 that are turned yellow. That thing's kicking out lightning, man.
Wow.
What's the location? I can't quite make it out.
It's just outside Prince George. You're looking at 65 kilometers by way of Crow to the northeast.
Middle of nowhere.
Kind of, but no. People live in Upper Fraser and Eliza Lake and Sinclair Mills that just had that rip through. And Giscombe. And Willow River is there as well. It doesn't seem to show up on... doesn't seem to show up here. There it is. Willow River. That's my daughter's name. Because the Willow River starts here in Wells. Out my window. I can see it from my bedroom window. And I've played a wicked party there once. Man, that's the Willow River coming into the Fraser. So yeah, I mean, that's a small town. But look, it's more of a town than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's surrounded by giant hogsweed last time I was there. Really bad. Like so much hogsweed.
I don't know what that is.
You don't want to know, man. It's the worst thing in the fucking world. Giant hogsweed. It looks like a cow parsnip, except like if a cow parsnip was 10 feet tall. And if you get any of the juice on you, you'll wish you had poison ivy on your bag. Because it would be better than having any hogsweed juice on you. Like my dog's face. This is kind of what happened is my dog got into the giant hogsweed and I had no idea what was wrong with her when I was up at Carl's place in Rolla, BC up there. Here's Rolla. Tiny little Rolla, BC. There's Carl's ranch there. So staying at Carl's. And the dog broke out in some crazy shit on her face. But I was working out in Farmington on the Sunset Community Pasture. Malcolm and I were putting up fence there all summer long. And I was like, I don't know what happened to my dog, Carl. She's all fucked. Like, her face was like breaking out, like crusting up and falling off. Like, it was like the most fucked up thing I'd ever seen my dog go through. I thought she was going to die. It was bad.
This is a different dog back in the day, I assume?
Yeah, Skaha. And eventually I found out from Hilder from the ski. I was at the ski hill here, and Hilder's, she's like, oh, it sounds like your dog got into hogsweed, because I was describing like the way that she was just breaking out and like, completely crusting up and skin cracking, and like it was really hard to watch. Like she was in so much pain. And you know what I did to save her? People are gonna think I'm like an animal abuser when they hear this one. But Cascaw was a very aggressive farm dog collie. Like, she wasn't mean or wasn't going to bite you or nothing, but like, she didn't take shit from anybody. And if she was injured, you needed to treat her somehow. Good luck. That dog will take your hand off. Like, no, you're not touching me. So then what I did was I got a hot dog. I was at a festival and I didn't know what to do with her because she was like just getting worse and worse and worse. I'm like, what the heck's going on with my dog? So I got a hot dog, like a big sausage, and I filled it with like a whole bunch of weed. And I fed it to her and it knocked her the fuck out. And that was what allowed me to like get some things on her face because Malcolm's wife, Jenny, was a vet. So I had some stuff I could put on her at that point. I believe before I left, or maybe I went to Jenny after. I had still something I could give to her or help her with, but it was like I did to stop her from scratching and tearing at her own face. You know, I had to get her so stoned that she could just do nothing but lay there, and that's when she started to recover because she wasn't rubbing it against, and you know, like she was going insane.
Wow.
I'm just gonna knock my dog the fuck out. That's what happened. I got her so stoned, and then I went to Jenny's shop on when I got back to Rolla from the festival I was at down there in Hinton, Alberta, playing with the band and whatnot. And Jenny's like, well, it looks like she's getting better. I said, yeah. And she's like, well, what did you do? And I told her, and she's like, you can't do that. I was like, I did. I know. You're not supposed to feed your dog weed. And ordinarily I wouldn't.
But it worked.
Yeah. But I with what I had on the road, I'm in my van with the dog. But like, she wasn't too bad when we left Carl's. By the time we got down to the festival, she's getting bad. By the time we're into the weekend, she's like apoplectic and going insane. I was like, okay, I got to knock you out until we can get you back to Jenny somehow. And I had a cone on her head and stuff like that, but it didn't matter. She's just like bashing her face off stuff. Like, yeah, it was bad, man. Giant hogsweed. So it was like that. Willow River's covered in it. Check out this beauty of a line, eh?
Yeah, where is that? From
Greenville, Mississippi, all the way out to Charlotte, South Carolina.
Oh.
That's all the clicking going on. This big mesoscale system here.
Wow.
And I wanted to click on it so we could see all the lights flashing. And then as soon as I did,
looks a bit stealthy in a couple places there.
This here looks pretty.
Yeah.
Pretty aggressive. That bend. This front here. I wonder, we could probably see what it's done the last hour. Yeah, it's moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that there, eh? Well, even some of this. Let's look at the better radar. I'm getting hungry. I gotta go make some food here and get off. But I know there's a mesoscale discussion going on for this right now. Oh, there isn't now. There was.
Okay.
The mesoscale has expired and they haven't renewed it.
I often get a couple little lightning storms during snowmelt season, and then it goes away for like a month, which is terrible for me. Then the lightning will finally come back again once we have a little bit of more crop on the field and stuff.
Oh, look at this. That tornado icon. That just says a severe thunderstorm warning. I don't see. I think that's a wind event, though, possibly along that line for sure, eh? Boof. Coming right onto the radar site. Well, it's been fun. It's been fun. Is anyone still watching out there? Maybe it's that moment that I can take to look at the live stream and see if anybody's still out there. We love that you watch. Look at that. 12 people still. Great. Good to see you. Evening, Helen. Evening there, Gary Outlaw. Big wildfire in Scotch Creek a few years ago. Avery Show from Rust Valley Restorer TV helped out with the firefighters. Yeah. I was just with Mike Hall's brother, Rob. If you watch one of my videos here, actually, I'll set it up for you. I don't know if it'll crash my computer, though.
I'm gonna
That's the problem. So I don't know if I should watch it or not. We could try. But this character here, I'll put it on. Let's hope it works out. This character here is from the Malaman Collective. My good buddy Rob for years. There he is. That's his brother, Mike Hall from. Look at.
Is that him or his brother?
Oh. There you crashed it.
I've been trying to say I'm gonna log out here, but thanks for talking, everybody.
Have a good one, Hank.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to bring this to an end, and it looks like Joey is froze up so. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, good night. That's the show. That's the show. Good night. Crash my computer. I was like, look, did you hear me? I was like, look, it's working. before I can get it's working out. It's like and there it goes. Okay, everybody. Thanks for being there. Hit like, share, subscribe if you can, and keep supporting the channel. Appreciate that. So many of you do so very much. Have a good night, Hilding. Good to see you, buddy.
Have a good one.
And I guess Hank.